All right, friends, hello, welcome. My name is Joe Mull, and I am thrilled to welcome you to my programming showcase. Today, we are diving into how I help transform leaders into boss heroes. Those are leaders who create workplaces where people stay and thrive and give their all. I've spent more than 20 years speaking and writing and teaching about how to build cultures of genuine commitment in the workplace. I've seen firsthand that boss heroes aren't born, they're built. They emerge when leaders learn how to activate commitment through the science of modern workplace engagement. Now, I'm someone that nerds out on all the social science research around leadership, employee engagement, teamwork, and what motivates employees on the job. And I love translating all of these insights into frameworks and takeaways that leaders can use immediately to transform workplaces. I also love the art of figuring out how to do all of that in a way that is absolutely captivating for an audience. And so that's my hope for today, that you get a little taste of both of those things, how I blend compelling research and powerful stories and actionable strategies into experiences that are enthralling for an audience from start to finish. So let's dive in. What I am probably best known for of late is my book, Employalty. It's right over there. When I wrote this book, I analyzed more than 200 studies and articles on why people quit a job or take a new job or stay long-term with an organization. And what I learned is that if you want to get employees to join and stay and care and try, you have to excel in 3 areas of the employee experience. In this program, I share what those 3 areas are, while also debunking several of the myths that continue to persist about employee motivation and turnover. The truth is, we have to begin thinking differently about the employee experience if we want to be more successful at attracting and retaining employees and building the kind of workplace culture that people consistently want to be a part of. So if you're looking for a program that gives your audience clear insights and aha moments around finding and keeping devoted employees and creating a high-performing workplace culture, then this is the program you want. Here's a quick look. It is harder than ever before to find and keep devoted employees, in part due to a massive recalibration taking place around how work fits into people's lives. But also, leaders don't always know or engineer the conditions that lead people to join, stay, care, and try. And when we understand what those conditions are, we can start fixing the right problems. Okay, I'm going to run over to this side of the room now. This is almost as long as the walk from the hotel. Why are people switching? What is something we haven't heard yet? Organization. Don't say someone's name. That's not nice. I heard organization. What else? Feeling valued. Management. I would argue that every answer you just gave rolls up to a bigger idea, and that bigger idea is this. People are switching to improve their quality of life. Employalty is employer loyalty and humanity. It's a commitment to creating a more humane employee experience, because that's what triggers commitment at work. What you see in front of you is the Employalty scorecard. Every single person in every single job, in every single company on earth is walking around with a kind of internal psychological scorecard. And if you can engineer these experiences for the people in your organization, and they can check most, if not all, of the boxes on this scorecard, you create an extraordinary competitive advantage for your organization and team. Okay, By the way, detailed descriptions of every program I'm talking about today are all available online, including with learning outcomes. And if you have any trouble finding those, please reach out and we will get those to you. In the meantime, we have a saying on my team: absolutely no fluff. I am first and foremost a subject matter expert. I keep my finger on the pulse of what's happening in workplaces, how organizations and leaders are adapting, and what the latest research says about creating the conditions at work for people to thrive. But most of the time, I get chosen as a speaker when the delivery is just as important as the content. So yes, I am going to bring deep substance around leadership, engagement, and teamwork. Yes, I am going to teach easy-to-digest tactics and frameworks. And yes, I'm going to share resources and takeaways that can be used right away. But my approach is to package all of that content into an experience that the audience cannot take their eyes off of. That's why things like timing and interaction and jokes and stories are all so important. And nowhere is that more prevalent than in the program I've been delivering the longest, which is based on my second book, it's also over there, No More Team Drama. A few years ago, I set out to answer a simple question. Why do some teams become high-performing, close-knit, no-drama work groups, while others get mired in drama and dysfunction? The answer became a fascinating and funny program rooted in social psychology on the 4 interactions that teams must get good at together to keep team drama to a minimum and ultimately become a high-performing team. Now, I've delivered this program to groups as small as 12 and to a ballroom of thousands. And what's fun about this one is that it's not just for leaders. In any place where it might be valuable to talk about how teams work together and how teams talk to each other and how teams navigate conflict and throw in together in service to a job or a goal, this program fits. By the way, we do offer an alternate title on this one. I've found that if I'm delivering this program at a conference that draws audience members from a whole lot of different organizations, then this title is great. It's a draw. People see it and they say, no more team drama. I want to be at that session. But if I'm speaking to a room full of people from the same organization, sometimes the meeting planner doesn't always want to suggest that there is team drama by using this title. So sometimes we call it, we're all in this together, which is a positive pro-teamwork framing that aligns with the program's message. Whatever you call it, if you're looking for a dynamic program on teamwork, collaboration, civility, communication, and creating a culture of dignity and respect where you work, this program would be a home run. Here's a little flavor of the No More Team Drama program. Would there be some value in learning why team drama occurs in the workplace? If yes, say yes. Yes. Would you like to know how to reduce team drama where you work? Yes. Do you want to go back and eliminate team drama completely from your workplace? Yes. No. You cannot completely eliminate team drama from the workplace. When I say no more team drama, what I'm saying is no more team drama at the level where it does harm, where it drives away talent, where it devours your time and attention and energy. I want to talk about what we can do if and when it shows itself so that you can respond accordingly. So team drama are all of the actions and reactions that do harm to culture, morale, and relationships. And what we know is that if we can move the needle a little bit on the frequency of these behaviors, if we can reduce how often they happen at work, people are happier, their performance is higher, and outcomes are better. You know what the other most popular answer I hear when I ask groups, what do you do around here to build camaraderie? Happy hour. And maybe not for a while lately, but for years I would hear, happy hour, we do happy hour. Now please understand something. I am not anti-Jeans Day, and I'm not anti-happy hour. I just want to be clear that while these things are fun and they have their place, neither of them is a leadership strategy that you can point to for building camaraderie. And for happy hour, there are 2 reasons. What's the first one? Alcohol. Thank you. Which, if you didn't know, acts as a push-up bra for all the worst parts of your personality. It lifts and accentuates all of the worst parts of your personality. The This is such bad team building strategy. I have an idea. Let's take a group of overworked, undersupported, stressed out, exhausted people who spent 9 hours together, put them in a small space, and give them all a disinhibiting substance. Good plan. We have to recognize that happy hour doesn't work to build camaraderie because of the influence of alcohol, but also because not everybody goes. For some people, that's just not their scene. Some people don't drink, some people are in recovery, some people have after-work obligations, they've got soccer for their kids or PTO meetings, or they're the primary caregiver to an elderly parent, or maybe you're like me, who after 9 hours with coworkers is like, bye. I love you, you're great people, I'm gonna go be with not you. That one is a lot of fun to do. As a speaker, I am so incredibly lucky that growing up and even into adulthood, I had this incredibly diverse array of workplace experiences. And now, at 48 years old, that helps me understand and connect with nearly any kind of audience. For example, growing up, my dad built houses in central Pennsylvania. So from middle school through college, I spent a lot of nights and weekends and summers on a job site. And the result is that, yes, I'm pretty handy around the house, but more importantly, it gave me a deep appreciation for people who make a living getting their hands dirty. And then my first real job in high school and college, they were a kind of who's who of entry-level jobs. I worked in a call center. I worked retail in a shopping mall. I even worked in franchised food service. Thanks for calling Pizza Hut. Will this be for carry-out or delivery? After grad school, I spent 10 years designing and delivering student programming in higher education, before then moving into HR and spending years in healthcare, eventually managing training at one of the largest healthcare systems here in the US. Now, these experiences all shaped and informed how I teach and speak about leadership and engagement. If nothing else, they've allowed me to translate ideas and tactics for nearly any kind of workplace environment. And when a client books me for an event, I can then take the time to get to know them and research them and marry all of that experience together to create a customized, spot-on transformational program for that audience. A program that has a ton of utility. By the way, speaking of utility, if you're looking for a program to upskill leadership communication, specifically around feedback and coaching, then this next program might be what you're looking for. Superpowered Conversations is packed with templates and scripts and outlines for how to have many of the conversations leaders need to master in order to be good at their jobs. This is a session with learning that is practical and useful and that translates immediately. It gets carried instantly into the interactions that leaders will have later with their people. The audience members for this program that I meet tend to love the outlines that I teach and all the scripts that I suggest, but the real magic in this program is in all the dialogue that we have in the room about how to apply those frameworks and scripts to their real-world situations. I've delivered this program recently for a conference that Siemens put on for healthcare professionals, and the meeting planner that I worked with was kind enough to say a few words on camera about the experience. So here's a look at this program with her take on it as well.
I am Megan McBride. I am the program manager here at Innovations for Healthcare. So I have been with Siemens for about 8 years. I have been working with Joe for 3 years. The reason why I continue to bring Joe back is because our attendees request him back. He is amazing. He is energetic, lively, it's captivating. He makes sure that our attendees have takeaways. Our attendees love him.
Are you here because you want me to help you fix it? Or do you just need to vent? It's going to blow you away the number of times that will stop people and make them go, no, I just need to vent. A trusting relationship doesn't necessarily mean that that person shares everything about their life with you. You've got to meet people where they are, and some people are an open book and some people are closed off, and that may not have anything to do with you. You may be paying for the sins of a previous bad boss for someone who is less likely to invest in that relationship.
My favorite part about today, as I sat in Joe's session, was the amount of engagement our attendees had with him. Joe went out into the audience, asked them questions, made them engage, and before you know it, they were all involved, every single one of them in the 300 that we had in that room.
She said, if you couldn't hear her, what if you have someone that it seems like something has changed, but they're not sharing with you? They seem, I'm paraphrasing a little bit, so forgive me if I'm not getting it right, but maybe something's going on with them. They're not happy. You're trying to kind of probe and check in, but they're not giving you anything. One of the most important things we can do as leaders is just to make explicit our caring. And we can make explicit our caring by simply saying, I care about you. I might sit down and say, hey, I've noticed lately that, and then I'm going to describe those behaviors, and I wanted to check in with you. Are you okay? Are you okay is an incredibly powerful coaching question that makes explicit our caring. And if they don't, yeah, I'm fine, okay. Well, I might say, we've worked together for a long time, and I just want to let you know that I see that things seem a little bit different, and I just want to tell you again that I care about you, and that if there's any way that I can support you with whatever you've got going on, that I'm here. And you might have to make a deposit into the piggy bank of a future conversation just by making that caring explicit.
I look forward to working with Joe, hopefully every year, just because our attendees love him. He's always attentive to every little detail. He's supportive and great to work with.
By the way, I am facilitating this showcase today from my virtual studio, which we built a few years ago. When virtual programming exploded, I'm not going to say the C word, but you know what I'm talking about. When that all was happening, I wanted to make sure that we could deliver a virtual experience that was as close to possible as what people would get with me if we were actually in the room together. And so we've put some time and effort into really figuring out how to make virtual work well. We've gotten pretty good at it. This is a little bit of footage from some different things that we've done in the past. I use broadcasting software and a few gadgets to create an experience that's far more dynamic than just staring at a screen. We use virtual polling software. We move graphics and images in and out of the screen. I can interview folks. I can engage with them. The whole point is that we want a virtual experience to pull them in, to be dynamic, to also be one of these experiences that people can't look away from. So if you're in need of a virtual program, know that the style and the format that I'm using here today and that you just saw in some of those clips is pretty similar to how I would deliver content in a virtual program for you. Now, the other thing I want you to know is that the length of the programs we're talking about today in this showcase is adjustable. Every program that I'm describing is available as a keynote, a kind of 45 to 90-minute featured session, and 60 minutes tends to be the most common amount of time for a keynote. But every once in a while, we get asked for a longer form workshop-style program, and if that's the case, then any of the programs I'm talking about today can be accordioned out with additional exercises, discussion, and application to become a 2 to 3 hour workshop experience. And finally today, I want to tell you about 2 new programs that have been a big hit since we started adding them to my offerings. The first is called the Gen Z Leadership Playbook. This is all about engaging and retaining Gen Z talent. Now, there are a lot of speakers who can come in and teach you about the different generations in the workplace and how to flex your style to work with each one. Now, that is not what this program is. This program is about improving the mindset and the approach that your leaders bring to working with new and early career professionals. There's a lot of chatter out there right now about these newest members of the workforce, and some of it is pretty unflattering. And while Gen Z does have some unique characteristics and needs that are important to talk about, and we do that in this program, the truth is they're not aliens. They're just young. I hate to break it to you, but every complaint that you have about the people coming in behind you are the same things that people said about you when you got here. What young professionals need more than anything is patience and mentoring. And guess what no one has time for in the workplace nowadays? Patience and mentoring. So in this program, I deconstruct some of the assumptions and beliefs that we have about these young workers in a way that's fun and funny, and I then invite leaders to embrace a mentor mindset, while then giving them the tactics and the scripts and the habits they can use to create the conditions that lead these workers to stay and try and give their all. So if you're struggling to keep and engage young workers, or you just find them frustrating in general nowadays, you're going to want to give this program a look. And last but not least, sometimes leaders just simply need to be lifted up. An argument could be made that it has never been harder to be a people leader in the workplace than it is right now. Between burnout and shifting employee values and hybrid work and the emergence of AI and all of the disruption and instability that so many of us are navigating day in and day out, bosses shoulder the weight of it all. It's easy for leaders to forget or become numb to the immense impact that they can have every day on the lives of their people, on the experiences of their customers, and on the future of your company. In my Becoming a Boss Hero program, I celebrate bosses and all the ways in which leadership is a noble and gallant calling, while also highlighting what it takes to build cultures of genuine commitment in today's complex work environment. If you need the leaders in your organization to feel seen and loved on and poured into, while also leaving energized to keep going and reach higher, then this program is a good fit. Now, regardless of the program I'm delivering, as a speaker, my goal is always the same. I want to help people in the audience with their real-world challenges and do it in a way that is completely captivating. My target, what I strive for every time, is that when I'm finished, the person who hired me is going to come over to me, come running up to me with their cell phone to tell me about all the messages and the texts that they are getting, saying that I am hearing again and again that this is one of the best programs we've ever had. And I take a lot of pride in the fact that we hit that mark nearly every time. And we've got all the Talkadot results that prove it. Now, one of the reasons this happens is that I take the time to get to know you, to get to know your audience, and to get to know your goals for your event. If we work together, we're going to have several conversations ahead of time. What are your goals for your event? What's happening at your event? How can I customize this program to be a home run? What about your people? What are their needs? How are they feeling right now? What are they dealing with? I want to craft an experience that meets the moment, which is why I put that work in ahead of time. Oh, and I also try to never speak and dash. You know what I mean. Some speakers show up and they perform for an hour or less, and then they run out the door. And for me, there's just so much magic that can happen in the conversations that come after. So whenever possible, if it's possible, I love to linger and to chat with attendees and sign books and just connect with that audience. By the way, as we wrap up here today, I should let you know that you've heard me say we a couple of times today. I am privileged to be surrounded by an incredible team that some of you know, including Michelle and Tracy, who manage all of our bookings and events, and Jamie, my administrator, who has like 11 different jobs within my speaking and training and consulting business. So know that if you invite me to be a part of what you're planning, we are all deeply devoted to being the most responsive, organized, on the details speaker team you've ever worked with. After all, your event has a lot of moving parts and details that you need to worry about. your speaker should not be one of them. So I do all that I can to make your life or job easier before and during your event while delivering a program that is content-rich and that wows your audience. I really hope we get the chance to work together soon. Thank you so much for being with me today, and thank you for watching. Take care.